Royal Rumble is one of the most, if not the most successful gimmick match in the history of wrestling. Officially debuting in 1988, we've had 31 winners ever since, many, not all, who have gone on to face the WWE Champion at Wrestlemania for a chance to win the WWE's most illustrious prize. However, the match has not been exclusive to pay-per-views only and has occurred 10 times outside of a Royal Rumble pay-per-view. Even though these Rumbles haven't always followed the traditional rules of including 30 participants, they are recognised as being a Rumble, and there have been a number of variations of the match, such as a Tag Team Rumble and many others. But before we go ahead, it's important to note that we are talking about Royal Rumble matches only, i.e., regardless of the number of participants, it must follow the traditional rule that 2 wrestlers start off the match, with others entering in set intervals. None are Battle Royals, which are the complete opposite, where all the participating wrestlers start off in the ring. Now that that's out of the way, let's get into number 1. The St. Louis Royal Rumble in 1987. While most fans remember the first Royal Rumble airing on the USA Network, there was one beforehand. Interestingly enough, the WWF toyed with the Rumble concept on the 4th of October 1987 when it held a Royal Rumble in St. Louis, Missouri. This particular event featured an array of 12 WWE superstars competing to earn a WWF Championship match, but the event was a complete dud, with only 1,976 fans on hand to watch the one-man gang win the event by eliminating the Junkyard Dog. The 87 Rumble has become a footnote in history, with the first Rumble usually being listed as the one that aired in 1988. Number 2. A 30-man Royal Rumble at a WWE house show in 1994. Most fans will remember the 1994 Royal Rumble, where for the first time in history we had a double winner, that being both Bret Hart and Lex Luger. However, many of you won't know that 1994 saw a total of 4 winners, one being the King of Hearts Owen Hart winning a Royal Rumble match that took place at an MSG house show just days before the official Rumble aired in Providence, Rhode Island. Interestingly enough, the event was held on Monday night during a pre-taped episode of Monday Night Raw. Vince even mentioned that there's a more exciting event happening right now in MSG, which probably indicates even after all these years, Vince didn't give a hoot about Raw from day one. Anyway, this being a house show, WWE didn't air the event, but grainy footage exists thanks to a fan who probably snuck in a camcorder. Even though this was a house show, WWE didn't hold back and staged a full 30-man Rumble which lasted over an hour. Number 1 was the man who that year made the most eliminations at the time in a single Rumble, Diesel, but on this occasion he only eliminated 2 participants. Its number 30 entrant would be Funny Man Doink the Clown, but it would all come down to Owen Hart, Bret Hart, Shawn Michaels and Fatu, with Owen Hart getting the win after drop-kicking Fatu over the top rope. Allegedly, this was a test to see what reaction Owen would get should he receive a main event push, and it was probably a good enough reaction seeing how he beat his brother at Wrestlemania that very year. Number 3. An 18-man Royal Rumble on a WWE Japan tour in 1994. The third Royal Rumble that occurred in 1994 took place overseas in Osaka, Japan in a cross-promotion between the WWF and Genichiro Tenryu's promotion Wrestle and Romance, and featured only 18 wrestlers. The Rumble only lasted 46 minutes and was won by The Undertaker after eliminating Bam Bam Bigelow. Oddly, this was at a time when The Undertaker was supposed to be quote-unquote dead and had not officially returned until that year's SummerSlam. Number 4. A 20-man Royal Rumble at a WWE house show in 1996. Not much is known about this Rumble other than 20 men competing in it on a house show at the Westchester County Civic Center in New York, and the upcoming rookie Rocky Maivia, who had just debuted at the Survivor Series 3 days before, had won it. It's not known what number he came in or who he eliminated last to win, but if anybody has more details about this event, be sure to write it in the comments down below. Number 5. A Tag Team Royal Rumble on Raw in 1998. This episode of Raw in 1998 would be the one and only time in history that the WWE would hold a Tag Team Royal Rumble match. The team winners of this Rumble would go on to be number 1 contenders for the Tag Team Championship. The rules work similar to that of the recent 20-man Tag Team Survivor Series elimination match, that is, if one partner is eliminated, consequently both members are ordered out. Kane and Mankind and LOD 2000 were the teams to start it off, and every 30 seconds a new tag team would come and join in. They were joined by the likes of the thankfully short-lived New Midnight Express, the Headbangers, DOA, and 5 others. Its starting team Kane and Mankind would be victorious after eliminating Terry Funk and Too Cold Scorpio. Kane and Mankind would win the titles for the first time, defeating the New Age Outlaws a month later on an episode of Raw. Number 6. A corporate Royal Rumble on Raw in 1999. Most fans would recall Chyna's debut Royal Rumble appearance to be at the pay-per-view in 1999, but this isn't true. Well, sort of. Just a week before the Royal Rumble pay-per-view in Anaheim, California, a 10-man corporate rumble was held to determine the number 30 spot in the actual Royal Rumble. It was exclusive to only the members of D-Generation X and the Corporation. During the closing stages of the Rumble, the Boss was about to win by dumping his future son-in-law Triple H and the Big Boss Man onto the outside. But just before he could win, Stone Cold Steve Austin would distract Vince so that Chyna could capitalize and win. On the way out though, Vince nearly cheated death, almost decapitating himself on the bottom rope. Luckily he was okay, and Chyna was awarded her number 30 spot. Number 7. A 4-man mini rumble on Smackdown in 2004. This is one of 3 rumbles that took place in 2004, and the smallest in history, as this only included 4 wrestlers, that being Chris Benoit and all 3 members of the full-blooded Italians. Even with Benoit having a 3-on-1 disadvantage, he still managed to come out on top, dumping out Chuck Palumbo for the win. Number 8. A 15-man Royal Rumble on SmackDown in 2004. As much as WWE wants to erase all memory of Chris Benoit's accolades in WWE, it's pretty hard to do so, since he accomplished quite a lot, one being the official winner of the 2004 Royal Rumble. Since Benoit thought his chances were slim in defeating or at least having a fair opportunity at SmackDown's WWE Champion Brock Lesnar, he decided to take his opportunity to Raw and instead wanted to face the World Heavyweight Champion Triple H at Wrestlemania. This left Lesnar without a challenger for Wrestlemania. SmackDown's then GM and manager to Lesnar, Paul Heyman, was ordered to come up with a solution to decide a challenger. Heyman scheduled a 15-man Royal Rumble to decide the number 1 contender, but they would challenge the champ oddly at No Way Out instead of WrestleMania 20. Latino Heat Eddie Guerrero managed to lie, cheat and steal his way to victory, eliminating Kurt Angle for the win. Of course, the rest is history. Number 9. A mini Royal Rumble on Raw in 2008. When people mention that the WWE once had a mini Royal Rumble, they'd assume it was a cut-down version of a 30-man Rumble, such as the ones we've listed where some have only included 4 participants. But you'd be wrong. A week before the actual 2008 Royal Rumble aired on pay-per-view, a literal bite-sized version of a Rumble aired on Monday Night Raw that included Mr. McMahon's illegitimate son Hornswoggle and a whole host of pint-sized versions of popular wrestlers including Mankind, Mr. Kennedy, Batista, and even the Big Red Machine Kane. Or should we say the Small Red Machine? Since this was a mini Rumble, opponents only needed to go through the middle rope to be eliminated. Number 1 entrant Hornswoggle managed to outlast them all, but that was until McMahon added an unfair advantage, as the legit 7 feet tall Great Khali was the final entrant. Almost suffering a giant beatdown at the hands of the Punjabi Playboy, Finlay arrived in the nick of time to take out the giant with his shillelagh. With Khali quickly disposed of on the outside, the match was awarded to Hornswoggle, who competed in the pay-per-view Rumble but hid under the ring for the majority of the match. And number 10. A 7-man Royal Rumble in 2011. Now, Jerry Lawler has been a participant in many Royal Rumbles. In fact, his WWE wrestling debut was at the 1993 Rumble, where he lasted a respectable 14 minutes. However, after that, the King never seemed to have found any longevity in Rumbles, and in most cases only lasted mere seconds before getting tossed out. He was never a likely winner in any Rumble that he entered after that. Things however changed in 2011. Michael Cole announced by the instructions of the anonymous GM a 7-man Royal Rumble that included CM Punk, John Cena, Randy Orton, John Morrison, R-Truth, and Jerry Lawler. The winner of the Rumble would earn a championship match against The Miz at the Elimination Chamber pay-per-view. Lawler, who never managed to win a title in WWE, could have been one step closer to winning the WWE's biggest prize, as he shockingly managed to outlast all 6 participants, winning the Royal Rumble. As promised, Lawler would face The Miz in a world title match at the Elimination Chamber pay-per-view, but sadly came up short. Still, he can at least add to his accolades winning a Rumble, something that only few wrestlers have accomplished in WWE history. We listed 10 Rumbles that never took place on a Royal Rumble pay-per-view. Are there any we missed out? Let us know in the comments down below. subscribe if you haven't already, and I'll see you next time with some more wrestling content.